Hey, it's Wes Huber, a crypto analyst here at My Digital Money.
This is Guy Gottschalk, president of My Digital Money.
Yep. So that's a very good question. There's a lot of moving pieces. So with the larger coins, Ethereum and Bitcoin specifically hitting all-time highs, I feel like that created some sentiment for larger whales to take profits. But also at the same time, it also created a sense of urgency for retail investors to get in the markets at that current time. So essentially, these retail investors became bag holders for the bigger whales when they took their chips off the table, and kind of caused the market to see a downward spiral. But also, I also believe that the Fed kind of narrative caused some fear in the markets as well, with the Fed minutes coming up, which just goes to point out is basically people are waiting to hear the Fed minutes to see how hawkish the Federal Reserve was going to be in terms of their tapering. So I think, and also their rate hikes coming up, so that caused some fear in the market, especially when it comes towards higher risk investments like crypto. Typically when interest rates go up, people want to take their money out of higher risk investments and put it into more passive and kind of safe investments, more of stocks and bonds and stuff like that. So I think those have been two main drivers in the downside, or the downward spiral that we've seen in the crypto markets the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, and as I mentioned earlier, regulations as well. The crackdown on crypto gains reporting. And I also think a lot of short-term investors have come in to the market, and I think there's about 300 million new coins from short-term investors, from new investors, retail investors, and they've recently been pulling out of the market more, and they're not as certain about the long-term value. They kind of follow the hype,
right.
And so as the market's going down, they kind of get out. Whereas there's more long-term investors that are kind of believe in the long-term value. They make the price more stable. So yeah, just kind of an influx of these short-term investors has contributed as well.
But when will it recover?
I think it's moving in that direction. It's not as quick, and we didn't see the highs that we thought we were going to see by the end of the year, but it seems like the market's stabilized for the time being. It's kind of moving sideways. It hasn't kind of broken in any direction. It hasn't been bearish or bullish. So we're kind of in a kind of limbo state, I would say. But at least some of the technicals have improved, that we are moving to a more bearish outlook, which is still positive. So only time will tell, but I think it's going to start increasing and going up from here, especially with the Fed minutes coming out yesterday. I think it was positive for crypto. So I think we're going to start seeing a little bit more of a run up towards the all-time highs in the near future.
I mean, if you really think about it, the price was low. Like in September, it was 40,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you really think about it, we're still on an incline, right?
Right.
Right. I mean,
Sure.
you follow the prices a lot more closely than I do, but
Yeah,
it seems like even in July, we were like 30,000. Yeah. So that's what you have to remember, right? Just because it hasn't gone up as much as we expect, it's not like we're at a big crash.
No, overall, year to date, we're still up. That's the thing. Like, people forget that back in January, the price of Bitcoin was at like 27,000. So overall, the market is still up on the year. Obviously, people are more focused on what's going on in front of them and not really looking at history in the past. But I mean, it's been a good year for the crypto industry. A lot of new developments, a lot of cool projects coming out, and I think 2022 is going to be a big year for the market itself.
I agree.
Try to spin it.
By what? Saying what?
So one thing that you can say is, the one way for you to not worry about short-term losses and swings is to split your investment for the crypto IRA and cash trade. So for an IRA is a long-term investment, and you can do both individually.
Okay, one way of not worrying about taxes.
About swings is
Yeah.
to invest long-term. So if you want, you can split your funds
Yeah.
half into an IRA.
Yeah, that's a good spin. Okay.
Okay, all right. So, okay, but now that we have seen just how volatile it really is there any way I can protect myself against this and my sanity too?
Yeah, I think one way is to take a long-term outlook, which I always I'm a big proponent of.
Yeah.
Is if you believe that this asset class is going to grow over time, then you should also have a bucket that invests in the long term, and you don't have to watch the market, and be so worried about the short-term volatility if you really are holding, right? And so you could do that with an IRA, for example, with My Digital Money. You could put half, let's say, in an IRA, and just let it sit there and just be confident that in 5 years it's going to be way up. I mean, 5 years ago, I don't know what Bitcoin was at, like
Under 10,000.
3,000 or something like that, right? And so why can't it go up by that percentage in the next 5 years, right? So rather than worrying about, okay, the next 3 months, it goes to 20, I lost all my money, just take a pile that you can hold long term. If you have an IRA, that's a great way not to have to worry about any taxes. And then you just can hedge your risk. And then you have a pile that you might play with short term.